Okay.
There you go.
Good evening, Lunenburg. My name is Brett Ramsden. I'm Vice Chair of the Sewer Commission. The time is 6:03 p.m. I'm filling in for John Reynolds. And I would like to ask everybody to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to start our meeting. Would you mind starting with that, Dave? Leading us in the pledge.
Can you see that? Okay.
Got it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the flag of the United States
of
of
America
America
and
and to the republic
Republic
for which it
for which
stands,
stands
one nation,
nation
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice
justice
for all.
for all.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that at this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided to members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public meeting webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499, and enter the webinar ID 792-737-0353. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and email address. Note, no participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. I will do a roll call to confirm that all members are present and can hear me. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Dave McDonald,
Here.
Mike Nault,
Aye.
Mike Devakis. He is not here yet. And staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Bill Bernard.
Here.
Barbara LaFarve,
Here.
Paula Bertram,
Here.
and Jane Rainley.
Here.
Thank you very much. All right, we are going to jump right into our appointments. We have our first appointment would be Jason Parquette of 7 Harris Ave. He is looking for approval for a change of use application. Do you have anything you can add to that, Barbara?
No, I was just gonna, I don't know if you want, I don't know all the members that are on the phone phone or screen at the moment, but we skipped over public comments. So if you wanna just make sure.
Oh, did I really? Oh,
You did,
how
I
about
think.
that? Yes, sorry about that. Thank you, Barb. I appreciate that. Are there any public comments from the public? Seeing none. Are there any public comments from commissioners?
Of course, Mr. Chair. I have two. One is I'd like to pass our condolences along to Jamie Toll and Joe McLaughlin. She lost her father this morning, and George was a great guy, and he's going to be missed by a lot of people. So our sympathy goes out to them and our love to them during this time. Also, just a reminder, Thursday night, we're going to be lighting up those trees at downtown center. So bring the kids, Santa will be there, and it should be a great night. And hopefully the wind doesn't blow off everything that we put up. So Merry Christmas all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dave. Are there any more comments or announcements?
I have an announcement if you don't mind.
Absolutely, Barbara.
Just wanted to remind anyone who still owes money from the last fiscal year that closed June 30th of this year, 22, that the outstanding sewer bills will be put on your tax bill. Try to make sure you get that all tidied up this week, because it will be sent to the assessors very quickly. All right, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the appointments. As I mentioned, Jason Parquette of 7 Harris Ave. He's a contractor requesting approval for a change of use. And we should I would like to review that. Barbara, do you have anything you can fill us?
This is a change of use approval required because of an expansion of use. They are putting forward a request for a permit for a major addition on 7 Harris Ave. That almost, it, doubles the square footage, so it requires your approval as an expansion of use. I also wanted to note it does also require an additional privilege fee due to the expansion of use that is spelled out in our bylaws. I did send everybody the portion of the bylaw, section 6, that applies to this situation.
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of questions on this. One is, has the building department approved all this?
Yes, they are, I believe, right, Jay? I believe they're waiting on us at this point.
Yeah, so everything's approved. They're just waiting for the meeting. Building commissioner has no problem with what's going on. Said the square footage and everything is fine. We got plans. He doesn't seem to have any issues that I know of.
So are we bringing another stub up to the property?
Jay, do you want to answer that? The sewer connection?
Yes. Are we bringing another stub up there, or is he using the existing stub?
It'd be existing that's tied into the house. I believe the plumber's in here if you have any questions too for him.
Okay, same question. Are you hooking everything into one stub up?
Yeah.
Who's the plumber? I'm sorry.
Sam Winship?
Is he here?
Sam, you in here?
Okay, so I guess we do have a building permit, is that correct?
It's pending. This, I believe this is the last approval required.
Paula, do you guys have any issues with it?
Nope, just that, no, we had looked through it and talked with the assessors, talked with the building department. We're fine as long as you all are. The change of use approval or the change of use application indicated, and I had talked to David Moffett when he had submitted it, and the numbers I had just updated a bit. You will see my probably notations. I don't know if you want me to bring it up on the screen. Hold on. There you go. Current usage as a single family with, just the current family unit is 157 gallons per day. Based on the square footage and number of bedrooms, it does increase to 550 based on Title V numbers. So it's an increase of 393 gallons per day.
Okay, I see what you're doing. I don't know why it would have to be a change of use, though, but it's just a change of gallons. Is that correct?
It's a considerable expansion of use. Did you see that section? Brett, is it all right if I just read that section of the bylaw?
You asking Brett? You asking
am.
Brett?
Is he there? Brett? Is he there? I've lost.
Yeah, he's
Jimmy?
there.
I think he's muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Brett, you're muted. All right, while we're waiting for him to unmute, I'm going to just read it. The commission may allow for increased allocation for the change of use or expansion of use, which results in an increased sewage design flow in existing facilities within the sewer service area, subject to available capacity, subject to the assessment of privilege fees by the sewer commission. Change of use or expansion of pre-existing use shall be defined as an undertaking on a property, whether involving material changes to structures or not, which results in an increase in design flow on the property from the existing conditions. So.
Okay.
All right.
I'm satisfied.
All right, thank you. I'm back. I don't know what happened there. But thank you.
Mr. Chair,
So,
I'm set if you have any questions, or Mike.
I'm good. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a big deal. It sounds pretty straightforward. Certainly a larger number of gallons, but I'm sure the system can handle it. I don't see a problem with moving forward. Does anybody else?
I just never heard it changed as a change of use. That's, I mean, it's still a residential property. It's just bigger. It's just an expansion, but it is what it is. Mr. Chair, I put a motion out there that we accept the change of use for 7 Harris Ave for Mr. Jason Paquette.
Thank you, Dave. Could I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, let's do a roll call vote. Dave?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I for myself. So the change of use has been approved.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, I'm not used to running this show, excuse me, everybody. So it looks like we're good to go here, folks. All your ducks are in a row. We appreciate you having everything squared away before you approached us. It made our job a lot easier. I wish you well for the future at 7 Harris Ave, and have a great holiday season, folks.
You too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Do you have any
Or
questions
no.
of your own? Do you have any questions of your own you'd like to ask the commission while you're here?
No, I think I'm all set. Does anyone have any other questions for me about the project or anything, or?
Is it possible for me to ask a question? Is that inappropriate?
Not at all?
I'm not sure why the number of gallons went up so drastically. And I mean, I'm not arguing with the calculation. I'm just not sure why it nearly tripled. I don't know the calculation, but I appreciate everybody's approval.
Well, generally, what they do is they need some way to calculate an estimated increase, and they do that by square footage. Basically, they go by square footage, or it may have to do with number of bedrooms and so forth. And using a standard calculation, that's how the number of added gallons is estimated. You won't be charged any more
Oh, no.
than what you folks use, but it just gives us a starting point and something to approve.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your clarification.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Brett, Paula has her hand up.
Oh, Paula, please.
Just to add on to that, it's based on 110 gallons per day, which is Title V flow. And it's not, I know the potential occupancy of the house, it's 2 bedrooms. So therefore it adds the 220 gallons per day. And it's based on potential occupancy, not the actual proposed occupancy.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you very much.
All right. Everybody all set with 7 Harris Ave?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving along. We have,
Great, thanks.
I'm sorry?
Just said thanks.
Oh, you're
Nope.
welcome.
Thanks,
Have a good
Kay.
Have a
day.
great evening. All right, so we have a request for a credit at 99 Leominster Road. There's an active irrigation system from the original construction in 2015 at this location. They were not enrolled in the deduct meter program, but Mrs. Cabral sent a letter requesting a credit, and she wanted to discuss this, and we should discuss this. I believe, Barbara, if I remember correctly, she was told that they were actively on the meter program, the deduct meter program, and so she had no idea she was being charged a full rate during these months. Can you fill in the commission on some more detail?
Oh, that is exactly what occurred. She had purchased it from the owners that had bought it from the developer. And at the time of new construction, he had put in the whole deduct meter system. The first owners never used it, but when they were leaving, they told Jennifer Cabral that they were already in the program and that they would receive a credit, and gave them the whole spiel. However, that 99 Leominster Road had never signed up. So they were blithely watering and using their irrigation this whole summer of very little rain. And we're quite shocked because their normal usage, although they only moved in February. So actually they didn't even move in. They sold it in February. They didn't move in until I believe June. And so we don't have a whole lot of usage to go by, but she's requesting that we at least reduce her invoice down to 2,000 cubic feet, which was what her usage was for the prior quarter, April 1st through June 30th. We billed for 1,974 cubic feet for 269,965. So she's requesting in her letter just to, if you would just reduce it down to the 2,000 cubic feet. They have submitted their application for deduct meter program. They've paid the annual fee. They're all set going forward. We're just trying to fix it for this one bill that they received for $1,176.54.
Okay. Commissioners, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Dave.
One of his, it's kind of, it was messed up how that was done, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to believe. Is there a meter at the house? Has it been metered?
Yes, it's all set. Everything's all in line, ready for it to happen. And
No, I mean
she's told
before the sale. Was there a meter involved?
Yes, it was put in at the construction. We did require that Gary inspect it. It has been recently inspected to make sure it's all up and running. We got the copy of, I believe we got the plumbing permit. So like I said, everything has been submitted to get them going on the program now.
Okay, and my feeling is that they weren't notified. That's just,
Well,
that's just
as
hard.
I understand, who informed them that it was connected? Do we know? The previous homeowner or the realtor or both?
Oh, I don't know. I'm assuming the
My-
seller.
Yeah, my understanding when I talked with Jennifer Cabral is that it was the previous owner who indicated they would be credited for the irrigation meter.
Okay. So they've been going along assuming they'd be getting a credit and I never got one. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mike, what are your thoughts here?
I'm kind of with them. It's, new to them. They assumed they were watering and being metered and maybe totally didn't understand how the meter worked. So I can see it. I mean,
Yeah, I myself, let's face it, if it's irrigation, it's not, we're charging for something that never went down the pipe.
Exactly.
It wasn't metered. They thought it was metered. And they've done everything right once they knew. I, for one, would like to approve this for them. Is there anybody that opposes it or would like to talk about this further before we have a vote on that? Dave, do you have more thoughts? You want to talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 1,000% what you're saying. I just don't agree on how it happened. I don't know if there's a policy we can put in there for a safeguard or. That's all. I mean, it shouldn't have happened. Something.
Well, I
guess we-
agree. I mean,
I
like
just think we
especially
gotta,
a lot of things shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I would feel bad I personally would feel bad keeping the bill the way it is, knowing that they're paying for something that that we never had to deal with and never came down the pipe. And they certainly jumped through the hoops they needed to make sure it wasn't not going to happen going forward. That's my thought.
I mean, I saw the bill and it is obviously, it didn't go down the pipe. Because I mean, the bill was what, 3 times the amount, Bob, I think.
Yeah, it was
So I mean, I
1176.
agree. It's just, I just wish we can maybe we can think about this on, maybe Paula and Bob can put their brains together and what we can do to prevent this in the future. I mean, the
Oh,
meter
for
was in,
future homeowners buying property, you mean?
yes.
Well, that's a good thought. And we certainly worthy of discussion. Do you gentlemen, would you like to put that on a future agenda, just to have something to chew
Yeah.
on and see if we can come up with a solution here?
Yeah, I would like to just look at it in the future.
Sure.
How we can prevent this. I mean, you move into a nice little town and everything's going good and then you get whacked with a bill. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
wow, that's scary.
No, I agree. Barbara, could you put that on our future agenda and we can kick it around and see if we can come up for a possible solution there?
I can, just intercede or whatever. That given all the years I've been doing, this is the first time that anybody's ever been told something like this. And like you, I'm not as upset about this as I would be on other situations since it was water going into the ground. So,
Right.
but I can put it on a future agenda. I would also like to just say, just so in case there is a motion to approve, reducing the bill to 2,000 square foot. The bill would be 273.20, and that's a credit of 903.34.
And that's appropriate math, I assume?
I hope so.
Yeah. I guess all we can do is guesstimate at this point with the,
Well, no, 2,000 square feet is 273.20.
all right. Okay.
Mr.
All
Chair,
right, well, gentlemen, I don't see a need to beat this up. Can I have a motion to approve this credit for 99 Leominster Road?
Mr. Chair, I put a motion that we change the bill for 99 Leominster Road to 2,000 square feet at $273.20.
Thank you, sir. Can I have a second, Michael?
Second that.
Thank you, sir. Roll call vote. Mike,
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And I for myself. Thank you, everybody. All right, so our next appointment is with Kevin O'Brien. Is that Kevin coming on right now? I don't know, but I believe we are expecting him on the Zoom meeting. Are we not, Barbara? Barbara, you're muted.
Yes, we are expecting him. I believe this would be Kevin O'Brien. Kevin?
Oh, there it is. Okay. Kevin, are you there, sir?
Kevin O'Brien, are you there?
Kevin, you muted, sir.
Maybe that is not Kevin.
Yeah, I don't think he's muted.
Kevin O'Brien, can you hear us?
Mr. Chair, we are early, just so you know, on Mr.
Oh,
O'Brien.
yeah. His appointment is 6:45. Okay.
You want to
Fair
go
enough.
on to more stuff?
Well, Barbara,
Yes,
is there any, anything saying we can't work on some of our current business and then come back to Kevin at 6:45?
absolutely. We just move forward on the agenda.
Okay, that sounds great. So we have more current business. We have another request for credit at 47 Whalum Road. It's new ownership. We did receive a letter from these folks, a package billed for our minimum charge of $115. Wants to prorate it for 1 month because apparently they purchased at 9/14/22 and the quarterly bill covered since 7/1, 1 to 9, it says here. Oh, 7/1 to 9/30. Okay, I get it. So obviously they've only been using the sewer system for approximately 16 days before they were billed for their quarterly charge. So why don't we talk about this? We'll start with Dave. Do you have your opinion on this?
No, let's go with Mike for a second.
Say again?
Let's go with Mike on his opinion first.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. These people bought
Brett?
this house.
How you doing, Brett?
Good. I wanted to get your opinion on this. They've been in the house. They were in the house for about 16
Yeah.
days and were
Yeah.
billed for a quarter.
So, no, I was following. It just seems at some point, if they bought the house, like that should have shown up like in the HUD sheet or something, like as a prorate on the water bill. I mean, a sewer bill. I'm not sure, I know it seems unfair, but I mean, somebody was responsible for paying that money at some point, and it should have either been reimbursed, at the signing or I'm not sure the situation. But I mean, I think we've run into this before where people have moved in and they're in the middle of a quarter, and I mean, this one happens to be 16 days, but at some point, somebody's responsible for that. I'm not sure the exact how it all went down, but that's my opinion.
Mr. Chair, if I could, I know we talked about this before. Barbara, I know it used to be the quarter, but didn't we change that to the closest month?
It has been under discussion. It is awaiting policy updates and public hearings for regulation updates. And that's why we haven't, we just asked this lady to please send in a request because it has been the commission's pleasure in the past that we should change our policy to, instead of billing a minimum quarterly, that we can prorate per month. So that is what she is requesting. And
So right now on the HUD sheet, when they go to get credit, they'll check with you for billing. And we're following our old policy. And Mike, that's why on the HUD sheet, it's showing what it is. So it was probably on the HUD sheet, just at a bigger amount.
more. The prior owners were billed a final read. So the prior owners have paid through 9/15. They move in, and although they say they weren't even using water until the end of the month, they are billed a minimum, which is 115 for the full quarter, even though they were only in there for 15 days. So the prior owners paid what they were supposed to. And we're just trying to reduce this down to 1 month.
So we did collect the money then. So,
Yes.
yeah, in that situation, I mean, I know it's hard to set precedents, but it does seem like, a month would be more fair, but it has to be across the board if that's gonna happen. That's, hasn't happened, that discussion hasn't happened, so. Not
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
where to go with it.
I would give them the credit because we did get the money from the owner when they sold the house up to that date. So we didn't lose, we're not losing anything on this, but we do have to make the policy intact, and that's something that, Mr. Chair, we should put on our agenda to wrap that up, because I know we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, it's one of those things that have been falling through the cracks. Barbara, if you could note that for a future meeting for us to finally nail down a policy there. In the meantime, as I understand that, let's talk about making a motion regarding having them cover for 1 month of bill. We're certainly ahead of the game there, and it's been our running
Mr. Chairman,
policy at the moment. Yes.
if I may, I just want to say, I have been doing the final billing since I came on board, and this is a very
Mhm.
common occurrence. It's not unusual for people to buy a property at the end of a month. So I'm encouraged to hear that you will be discussing this, because there are quite a few people since I started that have been billed an entire quarter, although they may have been only in for a few days.
Wow. Thank you, Paula. I didn't realize it was that frequent. Thank you for that. Okay. Having
Mr.
heard
Chair.
that and everything. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I would put a motion out there that we change the billing for the 2 weeks and reduce her bill down to when she moved in, not for the month. Okay, that was-
The policy that we have discussed previously and is
Yeah.
in the draft changes has been that we would prorate per month. To try to do it per day or per week gets a bit more difficult. And so
Okay.
it had been decided previously that we were going to look at a prorate of a month just to at least help somewhat.
I think we should stick with that myself for now.
Yeah.
So we.
There's a motion to prorate it to the month.
Thank you, Dave. Mike, can you second that? Can I get a
Um,
second?
I'm just. Like, I guess what I'm saying is, are we setting, like, if we do this, are we gonna have like a rational phone call saying, what about me? What about me? What about me? Or, that's my concern. If we do this, is it gonna open the floodgates? I get it that it's the way it is. It's unfair and it's not right. But if we haven't, changed it yet, and we're considering it, doing what we're doing right now is kind of changing it. So if we're gonna say from this day forward, we're gonna change it, that's okay with me, but I think that's the direction we should be heading here. And it's kind of hard to do it without a meeting and discussion. Is there a way we can push it out to the next meeting so we could have a chance to put it on the agenda and discuss it? And then if it does come through, we could always prorate. I mean, just my thought process.
Well, go ahead, Barbara.
We have approved several because we have
already-
approved several of these because we did have
Okay.
the discussion. I
Okay.
can find them in the minutes that it was discussed
No,
previously.
then I'm fine with it. If we've already been there, I'm fine with it then.
Yeah, we've been there 4 or 5
I
times
wonder.
already.
Yeah,
So
so,
that's where
so
we-
in that case, yeah, I'm for it then, because we can't not say no here.
Yeah.
So I
and-
just-
and-
I just want to comment that I have had inquiries and so moving forward, if someone questions it, I'll have them submit a request until the policy is actually changed.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think we ought to put this on the next agenda. We've had approved these in the past, quite a few, if I remember right. That's why we came up with the new policy. I know I was trying to do it from date to date. I think we all got talked into the end of the month type deal. But I think we got to make this so, and it's not that hard to do. So I would put this on the next agenda.
I'm willing to
Yeah.
second, I'm willing to second the motion now that I know what's going on. You know, because we've done it in the past, so.
Thank you, Michael.
may
Okay,
I-
so
Brett, may I just say one thing?
absolutely, Barbara.
It will be quite a discussion when all of our policy changes. We'd done that whole thing with the chapter 147 with Fitchburg. All those policy changes have awaited the bylaw being passed and then approved by the AG's office, because it changed it down from 2 public hearings to change regulations to 1 public hearing. So when we do this policy review, and this is why it's been hanging out there for a while, when we do it, it's going to be quite a substantial breadth of policies and regulation changes. So that's why, and yes, I'm hoping it would be on the next agenda, although I won't be at the next meeting. But we can get this going, but that's what the holdup has been.
Just as long as we're on the same page until we get it approved. I mean, if we're doing it now, it will be a policy sooner or later. But yeah, I would discuss it at the next meeting.
Yeah, let's do that. And thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Dave and Mike and Paula, for all of your input. Great. Well, hearing all of that, I agree with Michael and that, and all of you, let's move forward with this vote, and we will work on changing this policy and working that out as soon as we are able. So I'm looking for a roll call vote. Dave?
Aye.
Michael? And I for myself to approve that credit, bringing the billing down to a 1-month charge. Thank you, everybody. It looks like we do have Kevin O'Brien on the line here. Kevin, would you be ready to proceed at this time? Yeah, you're muted, sir. Kevin, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
We certainly can, sir.
Thank you. I am ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that's great. So we do want to say up front that we don't believe this project will go through as it is outside of the sewer service area. And we don't believe that the ZBA has the authority to overrule the town meeting. Having said that, we are certainly willing to discuss your point of view and where you're coming from.
Well, I think what we discussed, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having me on the meeting tonight. What we discussed at the ZBA is coming before your board and the water board also. And at least on a preliminary basis, if the project does get approved, we want to have an idea of where this, where the water and the sewer would go, what's the most logical place to put it. I mean, I've given you a plan, I gave Barbara a plan. I thought we were going to be meeting tonight in person, excuse me. And I would have handed them out, but I could, real quick, I can just show you if I don't lose you here. This is the site plan.
Bob, you want to put that up? We have it on our package.
Yeah, we have this. We
Okay,
have
now?
this, Kevin. Hold on one moment.
Can you see it?
Yeah, Kevin, Barbara should be able to put that up on a shared screen for us.
Oh, okay.
We have that.
Oh, all right.
Stand by. Here we go. Thank you, Barbara.
Barbara, can you zoom
Okay.
that in a little bit, please? Down at the bottom. You got the 49%, there you go.
A little closer, probably.
So, Mr. Chair, I suggest that the applicant starts to explain what's going on here.
If you, thank you. If you look at the plan, the top left-hand corner shows the approved subdivision that was approved by the planning board back a couple of years ago. This is a plan that was drawn by Environmental One for that project, showing the location of, or the route that we felt would be the most logical route to be putting the sewer and, quite frankly, the water in. We would come down Howard Street to New Townsend Road and West Townsend Road, I'm sorry. Take a right on that down to Chase Street and then come up Chase Road all the way up to the gas station at 2A and at Mass Ave, the Gulf Station. That was our proposal before. I know that the board has talked before about maybe coming up and going, taking a left down Beale Street and coming around to Mass Ave again at another manhole. I guess that goes to Lemonster's sewer. And if we went straight at the gas station, that would go to Fitchburg's sewer. We're just, right now, we don't know, we haven't determined which one we're gonna tie into, because quite frankly, this is a preliminary. It's gonna take a lot more discussions with you all if we get to the point of the board approving it, the ZBA approving it. That's why we're trying to do this on a preliminary basis now, just to get a feel from you where would be the most logical place to put it. If you agree with my area, that's great. If you don't, we would be open for suggestions on where else we should put it. What would be another logical way to run the sewer from the project?
All right, well, certainly this is very preliminary. Certainly gonna need very detailed engineering plans and specs. We need to start with the peer review. And take it from there. Does anybody on the commission have any questions for Kevin right now?
Well, I think, Mr. Chair, I'm just, Barbara, can you slide that over to the left a little bit? Down at the bottom, there you go. All the way down the bottom, you got a little slide, you just slide it back and forth. Bring it down, there you go. All the way down the bottom, there you go. Thank you.
There you go.
So, I mean, I know Leominster to us is important to do that. So I don't know if you want to show another drawing going to Leominster.
So in other words, you're saying come up Beale Street and come around to Mass Ave that way? Or do we come up to 2A and go up Mass Ave and pick up like the water department and going by that way?
I think you're gonna have to talk to the engineer which way it would be the best way to do it, so we can have a peer review.
Well,
I
just so-
would like to mention just a thought. If we went straight to Mass Ave, should this project happen, there's bound to be far higher number of sewer connections likely to happen from there, people in need of sewer, more potential commercial properties as well along the way. This is just a, just a passing thought on this.
Mr. Chair, our sewer ends right about where it says, the connection point, the approximately connection point. So that gas station's not sewered at all. There's a problem there, if I remember, with Ledgers. It was really bad there. That's why they didn't continue it. So I mean, the best alternative would be Beale Street. Just so that,
The bedrock.
yeah, that whole area, actually from Beale Street down to the connection point is a huge, massive top of a Titanic ledge or something. But long story short, I mean, I think there's a lot of hurdles to do, and we're talking hypothetical here, but Beale Street would be probably the best avenue to go. Bob, what do you think? You're on mute, Bob.
Yeah, I agree, and I see Brett's point. I know it's also a good point, but I do recall the same thing. There was major rock to be dealt with in that area of Mass Ave. We could also on Beale, though, have quite a number of streets that we would go by that would allow for future connections, residential, but just, and not commercial, but, so I think that's been, the discussion has been more looking towards Beale Street. So
Yeah.
that's what I would also
And
say.
what about Bill Bernard? Would you like to chime in on this at all?
Yeah, sure. I think hypothetically, we'd like to see the flow go to Leominster. And just on paper, just looking at this, it looks like Beale Street's the right way to go. But I would recommend some subsurface exploration. Do some either test pits or borings, see where the ledge really is, and determine what's the best way to go based off of the data you get.
Okay.
Just so you all understand, in this, I'm not acting like a lawyer here, so please don't misunderstand me. The way the 40B process works is we do not give it a complete finalized drawing until after the Board of Appeals approves or disapproves it. If they disapprove it, we're in court and then we fight over it. If they approve it, then we come back to your board, the water department, and all the other departments in town and get input on final design. What I think we're looking for now is at least, even if we get to the point of getting it to Beale Street and we collectively, I'm looking at it as they approve it, then we go to the next step and I meet with you all and we decide where we're going to put it, whether we go up Beale Street or we continue up to Mass Ave at the gas station. That would be for the final design, the real design. In regards to the ledge, what I would do is I've got 3 miles of water and sewer to bring from that project. I would have a company that's going to do the blasting actually pre-drill the whole way, just so I know where the water, so I know where the ledge is. I don't want to get in the middle of Chase Road and then find an area that we have to blast or we have to break or we have to hammer. So I don't like the unexpecteds. So that would be something that we would do on a preliminary, not a preliminary basis, but we would do contingent upon knowing where this is all going to go and upon the approval of the ZBA.
Okay, as I understand, we cannot even request a peer review without a detailed plan.
Of course you can. Correct.
Okay.
And that's the unfortunate part about the 40B process. You can't, that's why the board, and Barb, you said you watched it, so you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but that's why the board at the last meeting, when I said it, I said, look, we're gonna run out of time here. Why don't you let us, me, my lawyer, our team, go to the water department, go to the sewer department and talk to them and say, look, on a preliminary basis, this is what we're thinking. What do you all think? I think again, I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, but I think everybody would agree that it makes sense to bring it at least up to the Beale Street intersection from the project. And then at that point, we would have to discuss if we go up Beale Street and it goes to Leominster, or if we continue up to the gas station and it goes down to Fitchburg.
I
That makes
think,
sense.
Mr. Chair, if you could, I think, and I was at the last meeting too, Mr. O'Brien, and I know exactly what you're doing as well. But there are a lot of other factors that you have to consider too. I mean, we have a sewer district, and this is outside our sewer district, which has to be addressed as well. And one thing that we care about on our commission is our customers, and that's a concern. That's a major concern, and that could be a hurdle. And again, I never built the 40B, but if it's outside the sewer district, you have to create a new district, not just to run some pipes. So that's a concern of mine as well.
Well, I would ask the board to check with your counsel. I know you've had meetings before, and I know that's the board's position right now, but my attorney and Adam Costa, the town's attorney, have had a lot of back and forth on this. And and again, I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth, but I believe that we've come to the conclusion that you don't have to go to town meeting with this. Again, what I just assume do is if the board could, talk about this tonight. Between now and I'd like to come to your next meeting, maybe you get in touch with council and say, are we okay doing this? Does ZBA have the authority to step in our shoes and vote on this without a town meeting?
Bob,
I don't know the ins and outs on that. Oh, you're muted, Bart.
Sorry, I did want to just interject that as far as just bringing the project to Beal and stopping there, I don't think that will help our peer reviewers to necessarily deal with all the issues that they need. They'd need to look into capacities and flow and all that. And I feel like I believe the commission has pretty much discussed that if this project to pass and go through, that they would like it to go to Leominster via Beale Street. So I think it's more important to get as much detail on a concept plan as we can in order to give the peer reviewers the best data to work with.
Well, again, the problem we're gonna have is we don't have to do that fine of a detail to decide where it's going right now for the 40B application. That's not, and I don't know why that's not the case. But that's what the requirement is, and that's what we've been saying to Adam Costa. So I'm not looking to go to Beale Street and then end and say, okay, if it makes more sense from the town's viewpoint and our viewpoint to go up Beale Street and pick up more people, and maybe it's cheaper going to Leominster than it is to Fitchburg. I don't know. That's something that's going to take a lot more time and design and effort before it gets to a peer review. I think what you have to do right now is just, maybe you just talk to your engineering department and just say, does this make sense if he comes up this way? Again, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth on how you should handle it, but that's my.
I think, Mr. Chair, through you, I think you're absolutely on target. You want to know what we're doing, but the other concern I have would be, we're talking about a big project that's going to either Fitchburg or Leominster, and we have agreements with these towns and these cities, and that would have to probably be renegotiated, and that's something that the lawyers would do. So it's not just as easy as, here's my lines, let's go ahead and hook it up. There's a couple of hurdles that we have to go over, and that's a big one to me, is dealing with Fitchburg or Leominster in this case.
And I would agree with your thought process on that. Excuse me, but we do have the capacity studies on, who has what, that you all had sent us back a few weeks ago. I know Fitchburg's got the ability to provide 83,000 gallons. And I know Leominster has the ability to guarantee of availability of 222,500 gallons. So I don't think capacity is the issue. Again, I'm not, belittling the fact that you've got a lot of sewerage going there. Even if I do this and I prevail and I build this, you're still looking at a year or two till that probably gets online. So if anything had to be, with tests and studies and, going out and drilling the road, like we talked about, pre-drilling and stuff, it's a lot of stuff that's going to be done before this even gets tied on. So if there is something that has to be, like you said, renegotiated with that town or city, there's time to do that. It's not like it's going to be tomorrow that we're going to tie in and here comes our stuff. But again,
Right, but it's not a good idea to put the cart before the horse either.
and unfortunately, I think you have to with the under the 40B regulations.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, through you.
Yes, Paula.
One of the things, well, I understand we can't get it's not a reasonable expectation to get a very detailed sewer plan. One option might be, I would think, at least a concept plan of the proposed layout, which differs from this development, and the estimated number of pump stations, as well as the diameter of the proposed pipes. would be a reasonable expectation, and that might be something you want to clarify with town council on, while certainly we're not going to get a full set of engineering drawings on this project until it goes through the ZBA process. What is a reasonable expectation from a plan perspective for us to, for the sewer commission to review?
Thank you, Paula. Kevin?
Yes,
Well, I don't think that's, I think that's a fair request. This plan you have here is a Google map with a line on it. It really doesn't have a lot of information there. And I agree with Paula that it would be helpful to have some kind of understanding what's going to be needed for pump stations and so forth. Do you plan to move forward with your hearings and requests with nothing but this? Is that your plan?
say that
Or
again.
can
Mr.
we- Are you moving forward with the Google map you have without any further detail to move forward here?
No, the environmental one did this. Environmental one is doing another proposal now with what's going to be out there with the 40B and the houses. So they are in the process of doing that right now. They needed another, a little bit more detail, which is what I gave them with the plan and profile plan that we did, and I sent it to you all, that shows the entire route. We had the engineers went out there a year ago and did from all the way down Howard Street, all the way to the gas station. So it's not like, we're not looking at Google Maps and we're not looking at, the topo, the town topo. We've done a detailed survey for the 3 miles. So we know exactly what the grades are, where if we didn't put an environmental one in and we put something different in, it would tell, we could decide at that point how many stations, how many pump stations would be needed. The environmental one has their own pumps in the system. I've used environmental ones. I think they're probably one of the slickest systems to use. Actually, I have one at my own house. But when it gets to something like this, I've never done something this big. I'm not going to act like I have. I think it works the same way. I'm sure there's a little bit more to it. But I can get that plan and get it to you. I think what we're really trying to do is determine, I guess there's a couple of questions. Is the area that we're proposing to put it in logical to everybody? First question. Second question is that I would ask the board to do is go back to your attorney, because that's what our holdup is going to be with the ZBA. Our next holdup will be is, are they able to step in the shoes of the sewer commission, sewer department, and vote in favor or disapprove or not in favor of this project?
I think we're all waiting for that kind of answer, to be honest with you. At the end of the day. But
Again, I think if you go back to Adam Costa and you approach him, I think with the emails, I don't know if you have got them, if they're sent over to you when Adam and my attorney, Don Bornstein, have their swap off with the emails. And again, I don't want to say, hey, Adam agreed with us 100%. I don't want to do that. I'd rather you get it from Adam and bring it back to us so we know which way we're going with it.
Well, Mr. Chair, through you, Mr. O'Brien, I guess I have a question for you. If you've already done some of the preliminary work with your engineers, why don't we see better drawings, or are we expecting better drawings soon?
Well, the environmental one doesn't need the drawings. They can design it because it's all a force main. The reason I had it done is because, let's face it, you've all talked about this before. We've talked about, does it help the town? What else can we provide? As I said to the water department, if I'm putting sewer in all the way up Chase Road and it's a force main, what's going to happen with all those houses that are on the way up? Are they going to be part of that force main? That's going to change of course, the specifications of the force main. Does it make sense in that same installation to put something in a gravity system that comes down to a low spot and pump it from that point? So all those people that are on that route, especially Lonnie's farm, get the benefit of tying into that, and it's on gravity. They won't have pumps, and they won't have to worry about in the environmental one pumps or whatever pumps they decided to put in to their system. They won't have to worry about that. But again, that's something that we decided that we talk about after after the approval process.
So again, Mr. Chair, through you, what would be your goal tonight? What would you want us to answer for you?
Well, you're gonna add, the board has asked you all to come to the meeting, to the next meeting, to give your opinion. So whatever you tell me tonight, well, I quite frankly, I just assume you think about it between now and your next meeting. I'd like to be on your next meeting because that's a day before the ZBA meeting. Hopefully you get some input from Adam that says yay or nay, you can do it or you can't do it. And then we go to the Board of Appeals, the zoning board meeting, and we have a decision to make depending on what your decisions all are.
All right. Yeah, honestly, I don't see there's a lot we have to tell you this evening either. Does anybody have any further questions for Kevin? Mike or Bill?
Mr. Chair, the only thing I can tell you is that laying a pipe on a TV screen is one thing. I'm more concerned about a sewer district and negotiations with Fitchburg and Leominster and IMA. Those are big pieces that go with this. Pipes are pipes, but to put the package together, there's more to it than just showing us pipes. So I think Mr. O'Brien's correct. We have something to start looking at and something to discuss. But I know time is a factor as well. And Bob, I think you got your hand up. You want to add to that?
Just, I feel from the past CBA hearing, speaking with Adam on this off and on, that I don't believe we're gonna be ready to, he's gonna say, yeah, we've got full, go ahead. I think we're waiting on a plan and a peer review, and then we can make better decisions. But I don't know if we're gonna have what you're looking for, Kevin, by the next meeting. I think we're leaving it up to councils to work out this. The commission just wants to deal with a plan and a peer review to have it looked at should it go forward. But I think the lawyers are going to be the ones that Adam with ZBA, but they are going to be the ones to work this through.
Okay, well, I would appreciate if you could talk to Adam between now and the next meeting. I'm sure you've talked to him. I'm not saying you've talked to him about this. I'm sure you have. If you could get an idea from him, from what his position, he's going to tell you all to do, that you can, yes, you can, that the zoning board of appeals can approve, can step in your shoes, or no, they can't step in your shoes. Because then that's the next hurdle we'll have to, that's one of the hurdles we have to cross now. Yours and the water departments. That's the roadblock or the crossroad we're at right now. That's what's going to be discussed at the next zoning board meeting. First thing they're going to deal with is traffic, which had a peer review done on it. So we're going to get that hopefully in motion or out of the way. And then we're going to get into the water and sewer discussion.
All right. Just by nature of a 40B, the ZBA will speak for all town departments. I don't think that's in question. But we're dealing with whether the increase to the sewer service area that would go before town meeting. That is not necessarily a ZBA call, as far as we know.
Yeah, well, see, that's the point. We disagree with that. We are under the impression that the 40B allows the town. It doesn't allow for the town. It doesn't have to go to town meeting, is what it says. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not trying to act like a lawyer. I'm doing what the board and what I suggested and the board agreed with, that we come to you, your board, we talk to you on a preliminary basis. I know that this is not, you can't say to me right now, we want it on Beale Street, and yeah, go ahead, Kevin, do it. We can't do that. That's, again, we believe that's the ZBA's decision, but they're gonna want input from you and every other department once it gets approved. That's the next step after this.
Oh,
And
I
we
see
just
your
need a
hand is up.
plan.
Pardon?
And we need a plan.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I would just reiterate, in addition to clarification of that issue of whether or not the ZBA has the ability to act on behalf of town meeting or overrule town meeting. So that's question one. But the second is what at this stage, at this preliminary stage of a sewer design, what can the sewer commission reasonably expect for a plan? And I think personally, I think the commission would benefit from seeing the actual proposed layout of the development, the proposed layout of the pipe, the estimated number of pump stations, et cetera. So I would hope that the commission would also get clarification from town council on what the expectation should be for a plan. Because while I appreciate the information Mr. O'Brien has provided, I don't think it gives the commission enough information to give any feedback to the ZBA as to the proposed design.
And I would agree with Paula on that. I'm not looking for you to, I'm looking for the location, really. I think most of you will, I think everyone will look at it and say, well, it makes sense to put it in those roads. You know, it doesn't make sense to go cross country with it and get easements, and hopefully it doesn't leak and all that. So that's the same thing I talked to the water department about last week. And they agreed that that's the most logical place to put it. I think that's what I'm looking for. The logical place to put it. Yes, you're gonna need pump stations and you're gonna need all that, but that's on the final design. And I need you to ask your council if the zoning board of appeals can step in your shoes and vote on this. And I agree with you, what you said, what Barbara said, that, you know, they step in everyone's shoes, and we agree with that 100%. But we want, I think the board wants to hear it from you. I'd like to hear it from you. I'd like to hear it from your council.
I do feel like we're starting to go around in circles
We
here.
are going around, yes.
I feel like this discussion's gone about as far as it can here, unless someone has something new to add. We obviously need to talk to council. And you know that we would appreciate a far more detailed plan for us to view and give thought to and discuss. So does anybody else have any other questions? We'll start with the commissioners.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I know is at the last meeting, the chair of the ZBA requested the sewer commission to attend the meeting. I think it's on the 14th, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
Yeah.
And so we have a couple of weeks to get our questions answered by Adam and go forward from there,
Okay.
especially for the
Agreed.
ZBA to ask some questions. So,
And Mike, did you have anything to add, or?
No, I'm good with that.
Okay. How about you, Barbara?
No, I think I've
Everybody's all set. Kevin, do you have any last questions?
No, if I could just put on the agenda on your next meeting, just so anything that you have new, I can have, and then the next night we'll go to the ZBA if that's, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, that's fair. Barbara, if we could do that, that'd be great. All right, well, thank you for being here, Kevin. We appreciate your time and your input. And
Mr.
I
Chair.
guess we will, yeah, go ahead.
Before we leave, I'd like to see if Bill has any comments from the DPW side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have nothing further at this time.
Thank you, Bill. All right, I believe this brings our discussion to an end for this evening.
Wonderful.
Kevin, we will see you in the near future.
Yeah, thank you very much, all. Have a good night.
thanks,
Take care.
Kevin.
You too, thank you.
Good night now.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, let's shift some gears here. And I would love to hear from our director, Bill Bernard, regarding an update on our maintenance plan. Bill, you have the floor, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, back in November of 2020, the commission had Wright Pierce provide a sewer maintenance plan. So that plan recommends inspecting or cleaning or jetting 12 to 20% of our gravity sewers annually. It also recommends hitting the trouble spots more frequently, kind of based on, what we find when we do clean it. So we have about 16.5 miles of gravity sewer in town. So 12% is about 2 miles. So the other thing I found is most of the gravity sewers are in the center of town, in the Whalum area, and in the west and the southwest areas of town. So I started to put together a spreadsheet with a list of all the streets so I can see where the gravity sewers are, and then we can keep this spreadsheet for tracking, annually what we're cleaning. Kind of looked through all the files, at DPW, and I didn't see anything like that. Maybe it was done in the past. I assume it was, but there was nothing kind of formal and nothing written down that I could find. So I'd like to kind of formalize it a little bit so, we could track this a little better.
Certainly.
So I've already reached out to 3 different companies who do the jetting. I got quotes from 2 of them. Talked to Wayne's Drains, and they gave me a quote of $2,800 per day for a Vector and a jet truck. And I talked to a company called Rapid Flow, and they were $2,500 a day. And I reached out to Clean Basins, who we've used in the past, and they haven't gotten back to me, surprisingly. So, but my thought was, let me clean up my spreadsheet a little bit, try to figure out an area to hit. And when there's a known trouble spots near Town Hall, near the Public Safety Building, and up on Sunny Hill in a couple of locations where there's a couple of big 90s up there. So we'll hit those areas for sure. I'll try to find another area to do, and get it up to about the 2 miles that we're looking to do. Probably use all 3 companies. Get them out for a few days each, see how they do, see who responds best, see who, it seems like they know what they're doing the best. And then, maybe we can stick with the one that's doing better for us. So I think they might all be great, but what else? And we have a budget of about $64,000 to draw off of, so. Then the other part of maintenance would be some I&I repairs, in manholes. So kind of holding off on that right now. We requested some money to do that through the ARPA program. So I'm kind of waiting to hear what comes out of that before I jump on that one. And the other thing I was going to mention is our regular maintenance contractor, Chad Empey. They were pretty busy the last couple of weeks. They cleaned out all the pits at the pump stations. They had the Vector truck. They were in there scraping the walls. They got it down good. What else?
Sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah. They had a couple other big things they did was they replaced some leaking seals on a pump over at the Mass One station. And they replaced a control panel at the Leominster Road station. And then the other thing that we should mention is flow assessment will be out tomorrow to start servicing the flow meters. So that's where I'm at with maintenance.
Okay, very good. So as you mentioned, the trouble spots, I assume you'll review trouble spots that we've had in the past on top of the ones you've mentioned, just to make sure we're ahead of the game there. Do any other commissioners have any questions?
Yeah, how do we look on the generator maintenance going into winter?
Generator. I know you had brought that up with Chad Empey, and I was trying to go through the emails and see what he responded back as, but I didn't see it, but we can definitely check with him, make sure he's all set there.
Hopefully the oil's been changed and all that stuff going into the winter month here. So,
They had done a major PM visits on all of them. I do have reports and I can send them out if people want them. They're extensive.
are we going to schedule a meeting with Al to come to the board?
Yes, actually, your next meeting, 12/13, he has agreed to attend.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your input, Dave and Barbara. If there's no other questions from anybody, is anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Bill. And
You're
it
welcome.
sounds like you're on it and there's a good plan to move forward with. Very good. So we are looking, Barbara, would you happen to have any kind of an update on the ARPA funding status?
No, I had sent an email to Heather. I was just trying to get an update. I know that the selectmen had it on their agenda on the 8th. I have not had any more of an update. I know in conversations with John, he was suggesting maybe that a commissioner go to one of the selectmen meeting or get on the agenda to talk to the selectmen, but I wanted to know where they were at in their decision making, if that was still a viable idea. But I haven't heard back from Heather on that.
Okay. I skipped one. I actually wanted to talk about the Whalum area INI investigation. We had a discussion regarding investigating those pipes and what exactly we're allowed to do regarding the right of entry language there. And I understand, I think the plan was to talk to council. I know you did talk to council today. Did that come up at all, Barbara? You're muted again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a cough that you guys don't want to listen to, so I keep muting myself. I apologize.
Sorry, you're not feeling better yet.
Me too. I did talk with council. I did have talked to Bill on this as well. Council's feeling, we discussed getting a right of entry form. The problem right now, until here's another one where we want to update the policies, because we need to have policies in place as to what we will do if we are to discover, pipes that have been infiltrated, basically. We should have policies in place as to what our action plan is. And also, and so that goes along with that too, that what we need to also have a plan of action. Are we going to help the residents? Are we going to put it on them? Are we going to have a loan program? So I think a lot also still needs to be worked out. Adam was not comfortable proceeding, even I know we talked about doing a handful maybe at the last meeting. I did bring that up and council was just not comfortable doing that quite yet unless there is well-defined policy on what happens when we do.
More
And
work
so,
to do.
given Dave's request and our knowledge, we need to get those policies updated. And I think I had brought it forward at a couple meetings ago, just Fitchburg had some good language that if it hasn't already been written into there as to what the residents' requirements are to maintain their pipes in good working order, then what we can do about it. I think Fitchburg had addressed it, and I will do another copy and paste to ours and have it discussed at a meeting, hopefully next time. Although I won't be at the next meeting. That's the unfortunate part.
Right,
Shortly.
okay. I appreciate that. I would like to, I'm sure we would all like to get a look at that. I'd like to suggest that it would give us, maybe a starting point to think about our own policies, if we could review that. I did want to make sure I made mention that I won't be at the next meeting either. There's supposed to be no hurricane this time in Florida, so I should actually make it to Disney this time. Just thought you should be aware of that,
Volcano.
everybody.
I heard a volcano was there.
Say again?
I heard a volcano.
Yeah, that's for my daughter to worry about. She's the one heading to Hawaii. But go figure. So everybody, we are moving on to the second quarter billing commitment. I understand, Barbara, it's the commitment's $246,015.25.
Yes, the bills were sent out on November 10th, and so we do have a commitment and warrant for your signature. If you could come stop by the office. John, you too, whenever you get around to it. But that was the net amount of the billing for Q2 and the adjustments processed since the last billing. So if you would vote to approve that commitment, that would be great.
Bob, do you need us all this time?
I need at least 3.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay,
All right.
Can I have a vote?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
Nathan?
Thank you, Barbara. I dropped the ball on that one. I appreciate it.
that's all right.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the commitment Barbara mentioned?
For Q2 for $246,015.25.
We'll make a motion to, for Q2, the commitment of 246,015.25.
Thank you, Mike. Can I have that second, Dave?
Second.
All right. Gonna bring it to a vote. Mike,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you all, and thank you, Barbara. Appreciate it. I assume, gentlemen, have you had a chance to review the minutes? The minutes of 11/8/22. I believe we were all there.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions or changes they'd like to see happen to those minutes? Okay, seeing none. If I could have a motion to approve the minutes for 11/8/22, please.
Mr. Chair, I put a motion that we approve the minutes from 11/8/22.
Yeah, did I not say 11/8/22? What did I say, 8/11/22?
11/8/22. Is that correct?
Yes.
11/8/22 is correct.
I'll
Can you
second
hear
that.
okay? Oh. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we'll bring it to a vote. Dave,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
and I for myself. Thank you, everyone. I think that was a little hole in my hearing on the Zoom there for a moment. So moving along, Barbara, if you could proceed with your manager's report, that would be great.
Oh, certainly. It's that time of year again when the selectman's office, the select board office works on the Viddlers list. This year Paula took it on. Thank you very much, Paula. And we have reported back any issues that we had. We had 2 people with just overdue bills. So Elaine has been given the information and she will work on those, but that list has been returned to the select board for action. All right. The FY23 recap that the town accountant's office is required by the Department of Revenue to submit our portion was submitted. And again, that's every time, this time of year, what occurs. So the recap has gone through, haven't heard back, so I'm assuming all is well. Al is attending the 12/13 meeting, hopefully. And you already know that flow assessment is on site tomorrow. I don't know if anyone is interested for some reason. If you haven't already, I think Mike and Dave have already both, and Brett, I'm not sure, but have already gone to these inspections, calibrations. So just wanted to make sure you knew. I have 3 invoices. I have for your acknowledgement approval. I have the City of Fitchburg for $18,872.69, which is based on flow meter readings as expected. I do have the City of Leominster's quarterly bill for the time frame of like June 30th, June 26th through September 25th for $85,404.49, which is a nice decrease from prior one, but that's also due to the, I'm pretty sure, the dry summer that we did have. And then lastly, I do have Mead Tollerman's invoice for October, a whopping $76.43.
I don't know about that one.
I know, I like that one. For Pondview Commons, the work, just some of the help that had gone into some of these prep for ZBA hearings. So that's what we have. As long as those are all right with you, I'm okay with them.
No vote required on them, just verbal approval. Okay.
Yes.
I agree with them. Does everybody else, Dave and Mike?
All good.
Looks in a positive.
Okay. And that's all I have, Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. Really appreciate that. Are there any action items that need to be discussed with anybody present? Dave?
No, we discussed them all, about put them on the agenda. So
Okay, great. Moving right along, is there any public comment from the public?
Mr. Chair, I just want to say you did a good job tonight. Thank you for what you did. I hope John is watching. And John, you better worry because Brett did a good job for you tonight. Oh, and
Thank
one
you,
last,
Dave.
just have to thank Paula and Barbara. As you know, Paula came up with a new program for the billing. And how did that work out, Paula?
Yeah, so I'm now able to, I am able to import the water district readings directly into Access, import the bills from the City of Leominster and City of Fitchburg directly into Access without any retyping. And then I was able to create a macro that exports all of that data directly into Munis. So it eliminates all of the manual data entry. So, and it worked great for this billing, and looking forward to doing it for the next billing. Now I'm just trying to update all of the instructions associated with billing because they've changed, but we've eliminated the manual data entry portion.
Also irrigation meters.
Oh, I've also been able to, all of the irrigation meters, I now am able to import directly into Access from the Excel worksheet we get. So those are no longer manually entered either. So everything is just done automatically at this point.
Holy
You know,
cow.
I can't thank you enough for, that was one of our visions since I've been on the sewer committee to try to fix that. And too bad Barbara, it took us, what, 12 years to do that? So,
I just
but
needed an
congratulations.
assistant. That's all. I've been
Yeah.
asking for an assistant. We
Hey,
gotta, and
speaking
poof,
to the choir girl, I mean, we tried to get you an assistant a long time ago. But Paula brought the necessary tools to make it happen. So thank you
yes, she
both.
did.
I think
Yes,
that's
good job.
You're
Very good
welcome.
job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula. That's huge. Great. All right then. And I have one last comment just to, I know I already said it earlier, but myself and Barbara won't be available at our next meeting, December 13th. And I certainly wish Sean continued healing and certainly hope to see him back soon. Hopefully he can run the December 13th meeting, but I won't be able to help with that one. So I did want to mention the upcoming schedule. Obviously, December 13th, 2022 at 6 p.m. regular meeting via Zoom. Excuse me, as well as the December 27th meeting, 2022, 6 p.m. regular meeting. Apparently that one is to be determined whether it's going to be in person or Zoom. Is that correct, Barbara?
No, it's just usually that is always a questionable meeting. It's in the middle of the holiday
Oh,
season, end of December, kind of mayhem. So at the third meeting on the 13th, it would be discussed if there would be the last Tuesday of the month meeting. That's all.
yes. That would be a good question mark. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay. And also I do interject another one. 12/14 is the ZBA hearing, and they are requesting commissioners' presence at that ZBA hearing.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay.
All right, folks. I think that wraps it up. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
A motion.
All right. Can I get a second there, Mike?
I will second that.
All right, Dave, I'm looking for a vote.
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And I for myself. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. Thank you, Lunenburg, and we will be back on the 13th of December. And
Good night,
thank
Lunenburg.
you. I want to say thank you to all of you for all your help this evening. Felt like a good meeting. I appreciate it.
Good
Night,
job.
everybody.
Night.
Bye-bye.
All right, folks, you have a great night. Bye-bye.
Bye.